I never thought one decision could alter the course of my life so drastically, but looking back, it was inevitable. The choice sat before me, heavy as stone, and no matter which way I turned it, the outcome seemed uncertain. I had to choose between safety and risk, between comfort and the unknown. And once I made my choice, everything changed. It started on a chilly October morning, the kind where the air smelled of damp leaves and distant wood smoke. I sat in the corner booth of a small diner just outside Chicago, stirring my coffee absent-mindedly. Across from me sat Matt, my best friend since college, his brows furrowed as he traced the rim of his mug with his fingers. "So, what are you going to do?" he asked, his voice low but edged with urgency. I sighed, my stomach twisting. "I don't know yet." "You can't keep putting this off, Ryan." Matt was right. I had been stuck at a job I hated for 5 years, drowning in paperwork and meetings that led nowhere. Every morning, I woke up dreading the day ahead, and every night, I stared at my ceiling, wondering what would have happened if I had taken a different path. I had dreamed of leaving it all behind, of moving somewhere new, starting over, chasing the passions I had buried beneath the weight of responsibility. And now the opportunity was right in front of me. A job offer in Denver, working on something I actually cared about. It wasn't a guaranteed success. It meant uprooting my life, leaving behind familiarity, and stepping into the unknown. But wasn't that better than staying trapped? Matt leaned forward. "If you don't take this chance, you're going to regret it." I took a deep breath. I know. That was the moment I made the decision. I quit my job the next morning, packed up my apartment within a week, and by the time November rolled around, I was in Denver, standing in a city I barely knew, feeling a mix of fear and exhilaration. Everything changed after that. Some parts were harder than I expected. Adjusting to a new place, meeting new people, proving myself in an unfamiliar role. But for the first time in years, I felt alive. I woke up excited instead of exhausted. I felt like I was moving towards something instead of just surviving. My new job was at a media company, a place that valued creativity over bureaucracy. My boss, Lisa, was the complete opposite of my old manager. She actually listened to new ideas, encouraged innovation, and most importantly, didn't make me feel like a cog in a machine. The work was challenging, but I thrived on it. I was finally doing something that mattered to me. Outside of work, I forced myself to step out of my comfort zone. I joined a local hiking group and met people who had stories so different from my own that it made me question why I had stayed in one place for so long. There was Ethan, a former lawyer who had traded his suits for a life outdoors, and Olivia, a photographer who had traveled across the country capturing stories through her lens. Their passion was infectious, and being around them pushed me to see life differently. But not everything was easy. There were nights when loneliness crept in, when I missed the familiarity of Chicago, the ease of grabbing a drink with Matt without having to plan it weeks in advance. There were moments when self-doubt whispered that I had made a mistake, that I had thrown away stability for a dream that might not last. But every time I questioned myself, something happened to remind me why I had made this choice. A successful project at work. A breathtaking view from a mountaintop hike. A deep conversation with a new friend that made me feel understood in ways I hadn't felt in years. And then there was Emily. I met her at a coffee shop on a random Tuesday. I had been buried in work, laptop open, stress creeping into my shoulders. She sat at the table next to me, sketching something in a notebook. When I glanced over, she caught me looking and smiled. "Artist?" I asked, nodding at her drawings. She laughed. "Sort of. More like a designer with a caffeine addiction." That one conversation turned into another, and then another. Soon, we were meeting up for coffee regularly, then dinners, then long walks through the city. She had a way of making the world feel lighter, of reminding me that life wasn't just about work and goals, but about moments, about laughter over burnt toast, about getting caught in the rain, about the way someone's eyes light up when they talk about something they love. As months passed, Denver started to feel less like a place I had moved to and more like home. I no longer felt like an outsider trying to fit in. I had built something here, friendships, experiences, a career that didn't drain me. And with Emily, I had found something unexpected. Love. Looking back, I realize how easy it would have been to stay where I was, to let fear dictate my choices, to convince myself that change was too risky. But the truth is, staying stagnant would have been the bigger risk. The hardest decisions are often the ones that lead to the most growth. I made a difficult decision, and then everything changed. And I wouldn't have it any other way.